tell you what, we'll just turn this into a little bit of a general update thing. For those of you who don't know, I had a website called www.trilby.com where I did film reviews. I discovered this week this error page, the Trilby review website. I don't have permission to access this resource, and there's apparently a load of stuff wrong with the website, so I just thought, sod it, I no longer have a website. Thankfully, I was able to use the Wayback Machine to archive all of the reviews. I archived all but 3 of them. The Boss, the Melissa McCarthy film, Money Monster, the George Clooney, Julia Roberts film, and A Hologram for the King, the Tom Hanks film. So nothing of value has been lost, thankfully. I'm looking forward to an upcoming audio project. If that happens, I did a casting call looking for a bunch of doctors. Oh, hi Theo. I've cast basically everyone. So I'm looking forward to that panning out. Oh, cat time. It's Theo. Oh, chat. Theo, he's a birthday boy. He turned 4 the other day. What day is it? Monday. He turned 4 on Saturday. His birthday is April 1st. Also, if you have a super chat, if you've got any spare cash going around, basically feel free to send over via super chat or Patreon what you would not mind going missing in the contents of your pocket or down the side of the sofa cushions. I got a new chair. Ta-da! Brand new chair. And I am so spoilt now, the chair goes up and down. My last one couldn't do that. I'd had the chair. When I was disassembling it, I saw that there was a sticker on the back of it, and the chair was built in 2013, so it's lasted just under 10 years. So the mechanism stopped working, so I wasn't able to move it up and down. And then the other day, the back just gave out. I was just leaning on the back, you know, being a cool Chad, as you do, and then it just collapsed. Does it make less sound than the last one? You tell me. So yeah, but yeah, when the back went, it was clicking and clacking and everything. I had to record some projects and I was like completely still, couldn't move. And even at one point, my wife next door thought I was doing something inappropriate because the chair was like clicking and clacking that much. I wasn't, by the by, but it was kind of like, okay, I need to get rid of this chair now. So yeah, thank you to all your super chats. We did a little super chat fundraiser thing late January, early February to get me the chair. So thank you. Someone make a gif of Mr. Titus. Do it. But yeah, so super chats are greatly appreciated. I've also recently revamped the Mr. Titus Patreon. I've changed the currency from dollars to pounds, so if you are a patron, feel free to take a look and make sure that it is, you know, you're in the proper tier that you want to be. Credits and early access tier, contributor and a sponsor tier. I'm very grateful to the people who are in the sponsor tier who just are like, oh, I just want to give you that amount. I don't have a thing to sponsor. I massively appreciate you. Thank you so much. But yeah, so I'm also, once I've done the Hartnell Marathon, I'm going to be sorting out a bunch of polls to give to patrons for some video topics that I'm going to be working on in the very near future. I've got a few videos that I've got, like, I'm currently doing the preliminary research for, like, the very first draft of Stephen Moffat's Blink before Rusty Davis got his grubby little hands all over it. Like, the history of Susan throughout the history of Doctor Who, history of the Cybermen, unit dating, things like that. So patrons will be able to vote on the videos that I'm going to be working on, like, which one do you want me to make first and which one do you want me to prioritize, get some input into those. There's access to a Mr. Titus Discord server from contributors and above. Massively appreciate all of that. Thank you so much to all of my patrons. We're currently at, like, I think I lost a few patrons this month, which is fine. Yeah, I didn't have any brand new Hartnell reviews that was going early access to patrons, so a few people dropped out, which is fine. Hopefully this month you'll get your first Doctor Who Season 3 reviews. Like, what's your favourite Doctor Who? Lewis is here suggesting a topic that I do want to talk about. I'm not going to do Doctor Who intros until the new era starts, and I'll incorporate the Shooting Outward intro, should that change. Moffat barely rewrote Blink, though. Not sure if there's much in there. No, the original script is so different to the actual shooting one that was used. It's so Moffat-y. It's so Moffat-y. Tier list of Doctor Who intros. Like I said, once Shooting... Because if I do a video now, it will be outdated by this time next year. Whereas Shooting Outward, he'll have a few years in him, I imagine. So yeah, I'll do best regenerations, but topics like that. But patrons will have a much more input in the videos that get made after the Hartnell Marathon. I want to take a few weeks and a few months off before moving my way onto Patrick Troughton's reviews. So all the links in the description for you folks if you want to become a patron. Thank you so much to those who super chat as well over the course of the live streams. You do literally help to keep the lights on here. One of the things I was feeling a little bit down about last week, the reason I didn't stream, not just because it was a slow news week, but because a job that I've been looking forward to working on cancelled because they weren't able to pay the funds. Basically, the accountants didn't account for stuff in the budget because of the whole cost of living stuff. It's their one job, but they didn't do it, so they had to cancel production or push it back later on. Thankfully, I do have some media work at the end of April and the end of May and a few things in between. So, thankfully that stuff has worked out. But if it wasn't for the Doctor Who stuff, the online stuff as well, it would be very, very difficult during these times. And it's because of folks like you, really generous, lovely folks like you, who help to support the Mr. Titus Patreon. So currently, if you do become a patron right now, you get early access to the Big Finish retrospective review of 2022. The video is done, it's out there for patrons, and it goes live this Friday. It's a 70-minute big epic video talking about all of the Big Finish releases that I listened to in 2022. That's like 40 releases. I do a ranking at the end, I go through all of the ranges in Doctor Order and the spin-offs and stuff. So yeah, thank you to all of my patrons, to everyone who watches these things. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the like button. It really, really helps me out. Eva Dalek, Patrick Troughton reviews. Yes, so after Hartnell, so we'll go from Galaxy 4 to the Smugglers. That will be weekly reviews. I'll take another couple of weeks, and then what I'll do is that I'll go for some videos that I've been wanting to work on for a while that aren't, strictly speaking, classic Doctor Who related, or at least they're not review themed. I want to do a video on the history of Doctor Who in comic relief, Doctor Who and Red Nose Day. I've already nearly written the script for it, done a lot of research for it, and bought some books and magazines to do some research about it. I want to do that after the Hartnell Marathon. Then come back to Hartnell for an adventure in space and time, some rankings, and then we'll just do some really cool topics and countdowns and rankings and other videos over the course of the summer. Then we can get to Troughton, maybe. Maybe we might even save an adventure in space and time till closer to the 60th anniversary. But either way, that's the plans for the near future. Still waiting for the Benny spin-off. I'm writing continuous letters to Big Finish and Nicholas Briggs specifically to ask if I can work on the Benny spin-off. His lawyers have gotten involved though, so I might leave him alone for a little bit. So yeah, we'll get the Hartnell reviews done next. We'll finish that era because there's one full season left plus the Smugglers. Also, I've already reviewed Dalek's Master Plan and Mission to the Unknown, so that makes season 3 a little bit easier. David Bradley review delayed. Not so much speaking delayed. It was always gonna have a bit of a gap after the Smugglers. I just wanted to, it's a bit exhausting talking about the same incarnation and the same topic week in, week out. The Dalek Sember and the Cyber Sember marathons, they're changing doctors and companions and formats every single day, so it's easier to sort of marathon them and make things a bit more engaging and interesting. But for Hartnell, I enjoy them, but, there are 6-parters there. There's Dalek's Master Plan is a bloody 12-parter, etc. So yeah. Still waiting on the Class Series 2 that you and Stephen Noonan are show running. I'll try and get it done. Is that... No, that is not my wife. That is Tim Curry. I know. That's an interesting... That's an interesting mistake to make. No, that's Tim Curry from the Rocky Horror Picture Show. No, Mentality. No, his lawyers did not. That was a joke. His lawyers did not get involved. That was a joke. You might even be in this chat. You could be watching right now when I made a joke in my Oscar reaction video in 2015, 2016, when Mad Max Fury Road did not win Best Director. I made a joke saying that George Miller was robbed, and then someone got very upset with me and was like, "Oh, you shouldn't joke about that, getting the police involved, saying that he was robbed." I was like, it's a joke. Please understand. Please make it make sense. It'll just be another thing for Doctor Who stan Twitter to get very, very angry at me about, as they often do. But it's very, very funny. I know for a fact that they have group chats and they get very, very angry about me because I've met Jenna Coleman in person because I worked on Victoria years and years ago, and that makes them very, very angry. And they talk about how vocally and incredibly angry that they are in these like group chats and they gossip about me, and it's so funny. And then they pretend to get angry at me on Twitter. It's a wonderful feedback loop that it's very funny. I've actually got someone who is like in the group chat and just tells me, yeah, they're gossiping about you, and they're trying to figure out, they're trying to like think, well, okay, what rumor can we make up about him? Yeah. So basically, if you see Stan Twitter get angry at me on Twitter, don't listen to them. Just don't. Anyway, right. Thank you so much to Timothy Kralik for the super chat.